Right, now we're going to start the process of applying fiberglass to the roof. So basically the tools we have on the roof with us at the moment are some application rollers, which look very much like paint rollers, slightly different. We have a laminating roller or a paddle roller, which is designed to remove the air from the laminate. We have a broom handle, which we're going to put on the roller for the area of the roof. We have our gloves, goggles, the glass we've previously cut, some resin and some buckets. So basically now we're going to apply glass and resin, and we're going to use some catalyst to make the resin cure. Yeah? If you was to read the Stronghold section on Catalyst Addition, it talks about using your senses more than charts, if you like, to work out the catalyst addition amounts. What we strongly believe from 20 years roofing experience is the percentage of catalyst required is very much related to the layers of clothing in which you feel comfortable. So on a very cold day, if you've got a t-shirt, a shirt, a jumper, a jacket on, 4 layers of clothing, then 4% catalyst is probably appropriate. Yeah? We're in quite a warm time of the year now. I'm standing here quite comfortably in 1 layer of clothing. I think the air temperature is about 20 degrees. The deck temperature, because we're filming inside, is about 20 degrees. The resin indeed has been in this environment for the past 2 or 3 days, so we can assume everything's at 20 degrees. In a work environment, to speed things up, I'm quite happy to be working with maybe 1.5 or 2% catalyst. For the purposes of this video, because I want to slow the resin down a little bit to give me more working time, I'm going to work with 1% catalyst. Yeah? If it's the first few roofs you've done, 1%, 1 layer of clothing, sounds about right, gives you a bit more working time than 2%. Yeah? When you're a bit more experienced, you can increase the catalyst percentages a little bit when you've got a feel for the working time. Yeah? So first thing we want is to take a clean bucket. We're going to put about 1.5 litres in here. We always lose half a litre in the roller. We actually only need about 1 litre for a few patches. But as I said, the roller will absorb some, the bucket will kind of absorb some. So we're going to work with about 1.5 litres of resin. So take the lid off. At this point, this film's coming off this product. We're okay in here, we have extractor fans running. We know what we're doing. At this point on the job, be conscious of fumes, where they're going, who's breathing them, well-ventilated areas, etc. Yeah? So I'm going to put my glasses on because resin or catalyst in your eyes can be quite painful. Okay. Put the lid back on the resin. Bend down 1 or 2 tabs, make it a little bit safer. No, actually I've probably got about 2 litres in there, so I'm going to work on 1%. 2 times 1 is 2. If you add a naught, it becomes 20, and we're looking at using about 20 millilitres. The Stronghold catalyst dispenser has a grade on the side. If you take off the small cap, squeeze the bottle, see it rise up to about 20 millilitres, and then pour it in. Yeah. When we pour it in, it's a bad idea to have your head over it because it can sometimes splash back. We don't know how, but it can splash back higher than the pouring level. So always keep your head away from it. Add your catalyst. Put your top back on safely. Put that in a safe place. Yeah. We know it's okay with it. So I'm going to use the laminating roller to stir the product. Stronghold resin is blue in colour. When you add the catalyst to it, it changes from blue to a light brown colour or dark gold. This is a traffic light effect. The idea being that if you have a few tins open and you've put catalyst in one, The one with the catalyst in will be the different colour, yeah. So as I'm stirring this, I can see it going from blue to a light brown colour. And I'm going to leave the laminator roller on the side of the bucket. Now, important when you're roofing, polyester resin is very slippery. It's a bad idea to make mess everywhere without being conscious of where you're making the mess. Yeah? The safest work in practice is to start with the front corners of the roof, then do any other corners or joints, and after the joint details are completed, we've got the bandage around the edges and then apply the area. The benefit in doing it this way round is at the moment there is no resin on the roof, so I pick up the bucket, pick up 2 patches, approach the area that I'm going to be working in. Get a good solid footing in that area, so you're safe. Go back to your roller. So now we've got to wet the 2 patches. There's no, if you notice, there's no resin in the corner, there's no resin in the middle of the roof. Now glass has a wet out period, so within about 1 minute, it'd be very difficult to pick this up and fill the pieces. Before the 1 minute period, the binder in the glass will hold it and it will keep its shape. So we want to wet it and apply it immediately. Yeah? So for this corner, we're going to offer the glass over the corner. I'm going to touch the bottom of the corner with my fingers so I know where to stop the glass. Once I'm happy it's in position, I'm going to pull it back towards me to tear it, and the excess I tear off and put back on top. Yeah? It's common to see glass hanging down 5 inches past the corner. There's no real reason for that. And then quickly pick up this piece while it keeps its shape and using the same method. Put it into place. Yeah? Pull off the excess and back on top. Now use our laminating roller. Very gently pulling away from the corner and slightly up towards me. Apply the glass to the outside edges. If I run along with my finger, any glass hanging down, I can pick it up, push it onto the surface. Same the other edge. By doing this, you can save yourself a lot of work later on with sanding or cutting the glass. If there's any fine strands of glass sticking up, don't worry too much because later on we can very quickly go over a sandpaper and remove them. At this stage, it's air bubbles are more important, so I'm looking for air bubbles on the surfaces. Again, walking onto a clean area. And for this one, we have an open end, so I'm going to do a little method of reinforcing that. So we lift a small piece of glass, scrunch it into a ball, push it into there. Very shortly, when that piece goes hard, it will offer some support to this edge, so if someone stands on it, or the ladder goes against it, it's got some strength in there. pieces. And using the same method, fingers on the bottom, touch the glass, you know, you can do this by feeling, and then stretch it over the area to colour. Right back on top. Fingers on the bottom, pin it to the surface with your fingers and stretch again. That process on this edge, this this corner, and this corner, this corner, this corner, this corner. I'm just going to go quickly if you want to watch me, and I won't talk too much. If the glass is too dry, it will remain white. If the glass is too wet, when you pick it up, you'll see the resin running down it. So if you pick the glass up, the resin's quite happy staying there, and you can see there's even colour, and it's changing from white into clear, effectively, and you know you're about right. So touch the bottom, pin it with your fingers, pull off the excess. Back on the top. Touch the bottom. Yeah. Pull. Back on the top. Try not to fold the glass, because the strands of glass don't like to be folded in half. It's better to tear it. Replace it. Folding it is a sure way to get lots of air bubbles. As the glass tries to straighten out, you suck air into the landing. Again, check with the finger. You will notice that larger roofs can be easier to work on than smaller roofs. With this detail, we want to take the lead past, so we're making sure that the roof is bonded to the wall. Try not to go over the D-trim. If you do, it's not a problem. You can cut it off like that, quite easy with a manual grinder. point into the corner. A little bit more for this one. Like a long corner, patches maybe a little bit small. Okay. On this corner I've put 3 pieces of glass. Be careful never to put more than 3 layers on at one time. If you put more than 3 layers in one place, a lot of heat is generated when it's curing. You know, if it gets hot it turns to dark brown, and effectively the plastic will be a weaker finished product. So if you do ever need to build an area up with 4, 5, 6 layers, then apply them 2 or 3 at a time and let them cure before you add the next layers. On a hot day outside direct sunlight, it's probably a good idea not to put more than 2 layers at one time. Yeah? Round to our last detail. Right, this is a difficult one because it's just an example of a roof, so I'm not sure what the intentions here would be for the roofer. I'm presuming that some sort of dry verge or cloak verge will go on there. I'm just looking at bonding this roof into this upstand, and then in theory the roofer should rest down here. So no negative comments on my finishing, because we don't have a roofer behind me. If you have corners, very tight areas that difficult to get into with a laminating roller, these kind of a 75mm version as well. You can always use a small paintbrush with a stippling action. It's also very good at removing the air bubbles. Now I'm going to apply the bandage around the edge of the roof, and then do the stench pipe. So first we do the bandage on the edge. clean gloves very quickly. Put the old pair onto the scaffold. Just going to ask the cameraman to pass me the Stanley knife. Anything today. Okay, so we have to start half on the trim, half on the roof. Careful because the resin on the edge of the roof may be slippery. So all the edge trims now are reinforcing bandage. Apply a little bit of resin to it. Now we're going to use the same tool we used previously to do the corners. Put on a three-quarter broom handle. And we're going to run around the bandage with this, just to make sure that the bandage is bonded to the roof and the trim and there's no air bubbles. I'll now repeat that process around the roof, and then we'll go on with another mix, fresh rollers, fresh bucket, and we'll apply the area to the roof. So I'll carry on with this. This will see you shortly.
Northern Building Plastics. Why collect when we can deliver?